Continuing here. Yeah, about this idea of a minimum guaranteed income. Now, I can understand how a lot of people might feel about that. But let me say this much. If you're okay with him or her or him and her being born with a silver spoon in their mouths, and okay, the people that I hear how bad this minimum guaranteed income is, they're all okay with people being born with a silver spoon in their mouth. So I take it they'd be okay with me being born with a silver spoon in my mouth and you being born with a silver spoon in your mouth and on, okay, in that theme. So you see, it's not much of a jump, okay, to go from being okay with select people, because who are you to decide? I mean, is that the way it should be, where it's just a select few that's okay? Why do we have a law? Why is it okay to leave your fortune to your children that didn't do anything for the money? It was you. It's your money. So why should it go to your children? Okay, there's a lot of things that people don't think about. Okay, they don't say, everybody thinks these things, but nobody says them. I'm the guy that actually says these things to help people think. I try to provoke, instigate, inspire thought. And sometimes I know I come across arrogant, and I hate that about myself. I really do. And I'm really trying to be. I'm less angry. I want to be less angry. I want to look less frustrated. I want less of this indignant spirit. And I'm having a hard time. So please, folks, I love everyone. Bear with me. I want the best for everybody, not some people. So understand when I'm talking about communists and socialists and hardcore capitalists and crapitalists and fascists, and this is serious stuff. The crony capitalism. We've got to understand how profoundly we have been divided and how it is by deliberation. We've got to get that. We've got to help each other understand what is God's will on earth. Okay, period. End of the story. How would it be when Jesus Christ is ruling over the affairs of men? So all this stuff about, these entitled people and you can't give stuff away, people won't appreciate it and all that. Well, look, if that's the paradigm that God would have, and who's going to argue it's not? Okay, God's not going to advantage certain people. That's not going to be his thing. Okay, the whole master and servant thing is one that has been fostered for a long time. Okay, the slavery, all this stuff. Okay, it's embedded in our genes practically. We don't understand employer. The term employer didn't exist in the Bible. That doesn't, that's a relatively new term. It was all masters and servants, workers. That's all it was, workers. You had workers, and then you had the kings and queens of the earth and the masters, various masters thereof, that directed people. I personally, myself, if I had to choose between being a master and a servant, I really think I'd rather be a servant, even today. Okay, I don't like, for example, if I had people working for me, I'd want to pay them, literally pay them more than me. Okay, and that's just the way I am. So I don't understand people when they get this elitist, they cop this elitist attitude, which is, they mock this idea of equality. And I hear this term bandied about too, equality. What are we talking about? Equal what? Are you an equally good mechanic? Are you an equally good pilot? Are you an equally good woodworksman? Are you an equally good gardener? Are you an equally good talk show host? Whatever. Okay, whatever it is that you do, okay, chances are there's nobody that's equal. There's different levels. And you can say, well, yes, we all agree by consensus that this guy's the best at this. Well, then nobody's equal. So there's still no equality in that sense. But it's just like talking about freedom. What are we talking about here? If you're not absolutely free, then you're not entirely free. Then you're not truly free in that sense. And the same with equality. So when we're talking about equality, we have to understand it's about equal rights, equal entitlements, understanding we're equally beloved by God Almighty, fundamental things like the fact that God owns the earth and that we all have a right to share in it. Just because you've been trained to believe otherwise, look right in front of your face. Whose property is government property? Whose property is public property? Believe it or not, your name is on that deed, constitutionally speaking. We own it all. So this is why I talk about homesteading. Yes, they should allow people to homestead wherever you want to live in that basic area. You're not going to build on top of somebody else's house. I understand that. We have, first come, first serve makes sense. Logic. You go by logic and reason. Well, it makes sense, but this whole idea that it's all about money, everything's about money, your very survival, your existence is about money, this is madness. And people, the capitalists that think taxes, it's all taxes' fault, reduce taxes and the economy will boom and all this. And the people don't want booming. They just want stability. They want steady progress, okay? And they want to be free. They want an egalitarian society. They want that equality. They want the opposite of whatever wealth disparity is. And does that mean we make everybody poor? No, not in my mind. We make everybody prosperous. That's the answer to that. So, like I was saying earlier, the capitalists that are really good capitalists, it's your duty, it's your job, it's your responsibility, it's your obligation to explain to the socialists in clear and concise terms where you agree with them, okay, that the cost of living is bad. I mean, get into specific discussions about problem solving. This is what we've got to do. This is fighting the good fight, is bringing people awareness, okay? It's called edification. You edify people when you instruct them properly about stuff. When you instruct them properly about fraudulent capitalism, for example, that's very important to instruct a socialist about that, because they don't understand. They need to understand. They need to be told that you agree wholeheartedly that this system has been askew for decades and decades now, okay? And I'm here as living testament to that. That's true. Our currency has been debased and has been by deliberation. This is how they've stolen the wealth of our nation, through cost of living inflation, a tax. A tax. Good God Almighty. Am I the only guy in the world that understands these fundamental truths? Sometimes I feel like I am. And there's that arrogant spirit rising up in me. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be a nicer guy. I really am. I'm working on it. But I got plenty of issues. And, I'm not an expert at everything. And one of those things is relationships. So when I can sit here and tout the virtues of being poor, it's a pain in the ass when it comes to finding a woman. See, I'm not in the mood, man. I don't even want to bother a woman. Why in the hell do I want to bother a woman when, these are my financials, this is my financial system? They don't want insecurity. A woman wants security. And I don't have that to offer a woman. I don't have financial security. I'm not free in that sense. And people could say it's all your fault, like this guest they had on talking about depression. Well, you just get off your lazy butt and go do something. People don't understand a guy like me. Anyone that would make a statement like that has no idea where I'm coming from financially. I want the worm to turn, okay? I want the hemorrhage on the collective body of humanity to be bound where it's hemorrhaging. I want to do things logically. I want to put the horse behind the cart. I mean, the cart behind the horse. I don't want to put the horse in front of the behind the cart, okay? I want to do things in an orderly fashion. And this is what I mean. This would make me feel so much better, okay? I feel like I've willfully become some kind of a eunuch as an allegory, or just like a monk or something. This is what they go through, this struggle between the material world, the secular lures and enticements, making a lot of money and defining success as, worldly prosperity, make a lot of money and all that. I get it. It's not that I don't get it. Defining freedom in that way, financial freedom, defining security, which is a way out of fear, right? Because so much of the fear is induced by financial insecurity. Again, what Jesus said. The poor fear they will never have. The rich fear they will lose. So we're all living in fear anyhow. Why do I want to trade one fear for another? No, I know what would make me feel better, okay, because it's all relative. I'm doing much better than a lot of guys. I'm doing much better than a guy that's going to hemorrhage out on the streets tonight, or that's going to commit some crime and end up in jail because of it. We got all kinds of mad things going on in the world. Some guy just down the street here in Sacramento killed his 3 children. I think they were aged before 10 and 11, early teen, whatever. 3, his own children he killed. What was going on in that guy's head, okay, that he killed his kids? Okay, do you understand if that guy, there's something beyond demon possession? Does it have anything to do with money? What was going on in his head? Was he worried that he was getting a divorce and he was going to get sued for child support, and he just couldn't cope with that notion, that idea? Okay, so I mean, I'm not trying to give him an excuse, for crying out loud. The poor bastard killed his children. Okay, and I mean, which is completely diametrically opposite of what a guy that's halfway in his right mind would ever think to do. And yet it happened. Okay, so what was going on here? I'm saying that everything comes back to money. Okay, all the problems, Jesus said, it's the root of all the evil, this love of money. Okay, and that's where it's stemming from in all of our hearts, all the problems, all of them, man. All of them. All of them. Alex Jones had this guy, Chuck, he looks like Chuck Norris, but his name is Sawyer, Craig Sawyer. But this whole pedophile thing, he was talking about, he's been doing some deep research, investigating these people, and he's found out there is a monetary component even to this. All these problems, the abortions. How many women, they say, I can't afford a child. I'm not going on welfare. They have pride, and they say, you know what, welfare? No, I mean, I'm not going to be looked down upon by peers, family, friends, whatever. I'm not going to do it. So they say, I'd rather abort the child. And they don't want they don't want to adopt it out because of all the emotional ties and all that. So, all those people opposed to some minimum guaranteed income, look, go fly a kite, okay? If it's not coming out of your pocket, shut the hell up as far as I'm concerned. And that's what I'm saying. It should not come out of your pocket. I say let's get to the bottom of things. I'm saying my demand is real progress. If I just saw our currency going up in worth, I'd be fine with that. But the only way you can do that is by have a reduction in the cost of living, a lowering cost of living, a lowering tax rate, okay? That's a lower burden. That's it. It's the only way we're going to be free. This is the only way you're going to effectively bind the wounds on the collective body of humanity where it's hemorrhaging. I'm telling you where it's hemorrhaging. I'm telling you that this is evil, man. This system is rife, ridden. It's permeated with evil. Okay? The entire establishment is. And this is where so many of the people that profess capitalism and Christianity and socialism and communism as virtues and all this stuff, they don't seem to understand this stuff. They won't sink their teeth into the fact that we've got to reject the entire establishment. We've got to go to the root of the problem. We've got to understand little facts like the POTUS is not the most important, most powerful position in the country. That really it's the money printers, that it's their policies that is the most powerful force in America. And we affect the policy around the world. We're affecting everybody. So what am I talking about here? I'm talking about what they've done to us economically, how they've stolen the wealth of our nation, created the wealth disparity, created so much of the poverty through anti-progress. Okay, true progress, true social, political, and economic progress is antithetical. It's the diametric opposite of what these people want. They want increasing poverty. They want us to suck it up, be good little biological automatons, and just get whatever we want to shove down your throats. And we're getting reckless and cocky now. We don't even know what we want. We know that there's all this automation, and we got you living in fear about, this machine or this robot's going to take your job. But we never stop to speculate, well, wait a minute, should that mean we should go back and get rid of all the heavy equipment out there that's all the state-of-the-art tools and all this? I mean, who's going to decide? Where do we draw the line? No, I just say we decide evil stuff. No, we can all agree by consensus that we don't want killer drones out there. We don't want self-driving vehicles out there, okay? I think there's certain things, if humanity gets their say, which they probably won't because these people make policies and then shove them down our throats because we're the biological automatons in their eyes, right? So we don't deserve a vote. We don't deserve a voice in this thing. But I'm not going to drive an automated car And the other, they're going to try to shove it down our throats, just like this RFID chip. They're chipping people. The mark of the beast is out there, and they're going to make it so you're at a disadvantage if you don't have it. It's just like the same thing. It's emblematic of what they did in electricity. Here in California, they've been promoting these rebates for solar and go solar and all that. And now that the electric companies say, hey, you know what, this is hurting our bottom line. We don't want to give these discounts in perpetuity. We got to take it out of somebody else. So this guy got a discount, so now we got to make these guys pay more. So now they made it so you're at a disadvantage if you don't have solar on your house. Do you understand how this thing works? So they'll get you to pay higher and higher till you're still paying. That service cost is going to cost just as much as, never have gotten solar in the first place. That's what they're trying to do with this mark of the beast, the RFID chip, this moving the Overton window. So it's an advantage to have it. You're at a disadvantage not have it. Eventually you'll have to pay. Okay, if you don't have a chip or something, right? But what are we told in the scripture? You don't get it. Okay, you're not going to a better world if you decide to become that establishmentarian, that is entrenched, and that's bought and sold into the establishment. Okay, that good of a puppet. You're not going to inherit a